The first verse that I wanted to ask you about it's in Genesis 1, right? Yeah. So in Genesis 1, it's verses 26 through 27. God is speaking, and he says, let us create man in our image. How would you respond to somebody who says that this is evidence of a multi-personal or triune God?
What a tragedy that is. What a tragedy.
Yeah, what a tragedy. You see why he makes it hard to like him? He's so wickedly demonized, full of Satan. He hates the real Jesus as God and judge so much. Look at it.
That people should hold such a holy book and worship idolatry when doing that.
Worship idolatry. Holy book that she thinks is corrupted. Worship. Now, remember who this guy is. As a rabbi, he believes in the Ein Sof, the 10 Sefirot. 5 are male, 5 are female that commingle. He believes in the Shekhinah, which is the female aspect of God. God in the mode of a woman. The Shekhinah is the she-God, a goddess, even though she's supposed to be God, distinct from God, but God at the same time. So it's a manifestation of God as a woman that can unite with God, and we are the idolaters, huh? Where are the idolaters? We're the idolaters, guys. Remember the session I just did? Where I showed you what Rabbinic Judaism teaches? This is the clown that thinks there's the Ein Sof, infinite. From the Ein Sof come these emanations, which is Gnosticism. 10 Sefirot, 5 male, 5 female. They can commingle. Now, you use your imagination what that means. And there is the female aspect of God. Female, that's actually the Sheen sign, because Leonard Nimoy was Jewish. Let me show you the book. Female aspect of God. Okay. Shekhinah, because it's a feminine noun, the rabbi said that is God appearing as female. God in the mode of a female, a woman. So the Shekhinah is distinct from God, but one with God, and it's God in a different mode as a woman, and God will reunite with her. We're the idolaters. He's got a picture of it. See it? Now, this guy supposedly follows Jesus, the author of this book. Here you go. 5 male, 5 female that emanate from the Ein Sof. And we're the idolaters.
So, as it turns out, man is creating in a unique way. We know that in the book of Genesis, it's also in the Quran. In that, man is binary, which means God collected the clay of the earth and blew into it his spirit. In Arabic, it's kind of like a word like nefesh in Hebrew. So therefore, man is made of 2 things. Unlike frogs and chickens, and I know you, the viewers, love your dogs. Your dog is not created. We'll just use the term in the image of God, and I don't know what that means, but that means a dog or a gorilla does not have a divine soul in it.
I don't know what this guy is talking about, I swear. I don't know what the hell he means, a divine soul. Does he mean a soul created by God? Then he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a Bible pervert. Dogs, gorillas, his ancestor, Megillah gorilla, they have souls. They have the breath of life in them. They are living souls. And I'm going to give you the receipts. This guy who thinks he knows the Old Testament. I want you to hear this, right? Divine soul. They don't have divine soul, right? I'm going to bury this lie.
When God came to creating man, he took the clay of the earth. And what's striking is that we now know that we're actually made of stardust, which is very, very striking.
We now know
he shaped it into the form of a man and then blew
stardust. Doesn't science say everything's made of stardust? We come from the stars?
Blew into it his spirit. So if in some way the creation of man was conveying, as Christians argue, the doctrine of the Trinity, then why isn't Jesus also creating light? Or why isn't he creating the animals or the fish? Why doesn't he say, let us make fish? See, if Jesus is a part of the creator, as actually is stated in the prologue of John, why doesn't it say anywhere else? What's unique for man is that man literally is summoning 2 things. Number one, the physical material of the world that he had already created. Everything else that God created was created ex nihilo, which means from absolutely nothing. That's what unique is about God. But when it came to man, he took something that already existed, the clay, the earth, and then something else. And that is that metaphysical soul, that spirit, whatever that is in us. And that's why it's let us. Those two things combined together.
You see what he says? He's talking to the elements. You see that, right? He's talking to the elements. Hear it? Hear it one more time.
Number one, the physical material of the world that he had already created. Everything else that God created was created ex nihilo, which means from absolutely nothing. That's what unique is about God. But when it came to man, he took something that already existed, the clay, the earth, and then something else. And that is that metaphysical soul, that spirit, whatever that is in us. And that's why it's let us. Those two things combined together. And pow, we have man. And again, that's why God doesn't say, let us make light. Doesn't say, it's only man that's binary. It's completely unique.
So do you understand? Because I don't think he understands that supposedly God is talking to elements. Let us make man, the soul and the dust. You see that interpretation?
In that portion of the passage, the way that I usually interpret it is, so in Genesis 1, verse 26, it says, let us make man in our image. The verse following right after that, I believe it's verse 27, it then repeats and it says, so God made man in his image. Would you say that that is an evidence that it's not a multi-personal God or a triune God?
Not when speaking to a Christian. It means if you as a Muslim and I as a Jew were having a conversation, because we worship one true God, the only true
worship
God.
The one true God. Are you hearing it? Unlike you Christians, you're pagans. But he and the Muslims worship the one true God. You hear it? But watch how it's going to backfire against them.
One being, one person.
One being, one person. Nowhere stated in the Old Testament, by the way. But let's go there.
Alone. So we can have that conversation, you and I, and we would agree on that. That's correct. Let us, and then it goes to the singular. But the problem is when engaging a Christian, and both you and I do that, we don't want to fight. We want them to repent of idolatry. That's our goal. Or else what are we doing here? So
the pagan pig is calling you guys idolaters. Listen to this. And you guys want me to review this so I can be angry? You know I'm an angry person to begin with.
Christian would then go, aha, that's the nature of Jesus. There's a triune nature, a three persons, and a hypostatic union, all grow.
Hypostatic union? Do you know of any Trinitarian that says the Trinity is the hypostatic union? Do you know any Christian that says the Trinity is the hypostatic union? Hypostatic union refers to the one uncreated, eternal, divine hypostasis, person, the Word taking to himself a human nature, a physical body. Does anyone know of any educated Trinitarian says the Trinity is the hypostatic union? Hypostasis refers to the persons. They're not one person. Anyway.
Greek philosophical ideas that the church still to this day doesn't agree on. But whatever that means, they'd say, aha, so there you have the plurality of the multi-persons, and then you have the oneness in verse 27. And that's why, as an apologist, you're a person who engages in apologetics, you're opening the door for Christians to go, yeah, there's a three and one, three and then one. And in fact, I would just say, and I think you would agree with me, it doesn't really answer the question. We really want to know, why is man created of multiple things? Now we know we are actually, in some way, we have an immortal soul, and neither of us are going to pretend to know exactly what that means, but we're created in God's image in some metaphysical but grand plan. The whole world is created for us. So I believe that you always want to give the clear, direct answer, and this, of course, harkens to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, which we find in the next chapter, where God collects the clay of the earth and breathes in the spirit of life, which is found in the Torah. Of course, it's in the Quran.
Watch how it's going to bury him. Okay. He just told you the let us make man in our image. Our image means those elements, right? Soul, dust. But now watch the contradiction. Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, so that they will have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created a male and female, he created them. Now watch, guys. See, when God makes people stupid, it's amazing how stupid they be. If God is talking to the elements, soul and dust, that means we are being made in the image of God and those elements, right? But then that means when it says we're made in the image of God, the idiot just said that the dust is God's image. See what the idiot just did? See what he just did? But because he's so stupid and demonized in his hate for Jesus, he didn't just catch that he just said the dust, the soul, those elements are God's image. Because if you're made in the image of the one God, how then can you say God is speaking to the dust and to the soul or the elements? Because it says you're in the image of God, not in the image of God and the dust and the whatever it was. So he just made the dust the image of God. So his God is made of dust? Or does his God have a body of dust that's uncreated? You see that keys to the rock? Whoever the us are, they must be God. If we're created in God's image, then that means the us must be the one God, and they have the same image, unless he wants to extend the image of God to the dust, which he doesn't, and to the angels. Does he want to say angels are in the image of God? So that God's image, right, is the image of angels and men, because angels and men are in the image of God, so we image God? Well, we got a problem with that interpretation. Are we ready? We got a problem. Yeah, so stardust is God's image. We got a problem. Because the angels did not create man, God did it by himself. So how can God say to angels, let us make man in our image, and angels image God as humans image God, so it's the same image that we all bear, when angels did not create at all? That was a dilemma that Jimmy Akin and the late Michael Eisner had to overcome, and they did a pathetic job. Well, he didn't really invite them to create, so then why say let us make man in our image? They were only passerbys who were observing. They had no part in the creation. No part whatsoever. How do I know? Here you go. Here you go. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? And what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. The sons of God here are angels. Did you note they are passive observers? They saw God create. They didn't share in the creation. All right. So that's one. How about Isaiah 44:24? Thus says Yahweh, your Redeemer, and the one, sorry, my throat, who formed you from the womb. I, Yahweh, am the maker of all things, stretching out the heavens by myself, spreading out earth all alone. So who helped God? Nobody. So it can't be angels. But he wants stardust to be in the image of God. You see how dumb this guy is? Can you imagine if I was there cross-examining him? Oh, excuse me, Tovia. You just said God spoke to the elements, right? And he said our image. So the elements are also the image of God. So in the image of God, image singular means the image of God and the elements like stardust and soul. Right? Okay. Okay, so that's not going to work, right? The angelic interpretation is not going to work. Isaiah 40, verse 13 and 14. Who has encompassed the Spirit of Yahweh? Can you contain the Spirit of Yahweh? No. or as his counselor has informed him. With whom did he take counsel? Who gave him understanding? This right there shows you he could not have counseled with the angels. With whom did he take counsel? Nobody. Nobody. So how did he counsel with angels? Say, hey, let us make man in our image. Ain't going to work. And who taught him in the path of justice and taught him knowledge, made him know the way of understanding? Now, then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, so that they, guys, if you're not listening, you're not going to learn, and you're going to distract us. Pay attention. Us, our. First time in the narrative that God speaks in the plural. All throughout, it says, and God said, let there be. God said, let there be. When he comes to create man, he now speaks in the plural. But I want you to catch man. The word is Adam. Adam. How many is Adam? Pay attention. So that they, you see it? They will have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Okay. Notice man, Adam, is a they. Keep now, watch the plural and singular. God created man, man in his own image. God created man, Adam, in his own image, singular. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. Are you seeing the connection? Yeah, I am, brother. I am. Are you seeing the connection? It's not a coincidence that at this stage, God speaks of himself in the plural, us, our, and that God is a him, his. Us, our, him, his. Man, him, is them, male and female. Now we're going to go a little deeper, deep dive. Deep dive here, okay? So Yahweh God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs, Genesis 2:21-24, closed up the flesh at that place. And Yahweh God fashioned the rib, which he had taken from the man, into a woman, and he brought her to the man. Yahweh God fashioned the rib, which he had taken from the man, into a woman, and he brought her to the man. Notice, two different genders, male and female. Two different physical bodies. Two different physical beings. Okay? Then the man said, this one finally is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, came out of man. Because this one was taken out of man. Even in the name female, woman, you have the word male and man as part of her identity. Female, woman. But how many flesh are they? Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Wait, two different genders, two different persons, two different physical beings, two different flesh bodies, but they're still one flesh because the one comes from the flesh of the other. Now, notice, are they both called man, Adam? This is the book of the generations of Adam. On the day that God created Adam, he made him in the likeness of God. Notice, Adam, he. Adam, he. Him, God, he. Adam, him. God, he. God is a he, singular. Adam is a him. But now watch here. He created them, male and female. Them, male and female. Blessed them, called their name Adam on the day that they were created. There is the mystery. One Adam, a him, male and female, a them. Both of them are the one Adam, one flesh. Both of them are a he and a him. Wow. Are we making the connection? Connection. Adam is one, him. But Adam is them, male and female. And they're both are called Adam. One, one flesh, more than one person, more than one gender, right? So the one Adam, him, is a them, male and female, two different physical beings, physical flesh bodies, physical entities, more than one person. Surprise, Tovia. No wonder God speaks in the plural. Because Adam is reflecting God's complex unity, plurality unity. Like Adam, God is one. Like Adam, God is more than one person of same nature. Adam, him, is male and female, two genders, two persons, two different physical bodies, but they're one flesh. The one God, more than one person, but the same nature. See that? Genesis 2:24. Therefore, man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cling to his wife. They shall be one flesh. Remember this word one. Basar echad, one. Okay. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, God is Lord only. Let's go back to Legacy Standard Bible. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife. They shall become one flesh. Basar echad, echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our God. Yahweh is one. All right, now let's see what the word for one is. Right here, Genesis 2:24, the word for one is echad. Echad. Okay? Echad. Watch here. Yeah, keys to the rock. Watch how different it's going to hit. Now, I've done 10 million sessions on this keys. This is not the first time I broke it down. Echad. And by the way, I'm going to destroy his lie. I'm going to show you dogs have souls. Animals have souls. Now, he doesn't have a soul, right? But they do. He doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? Okay, let's go right here. So, echad, right? Echad. What about Deuteronomy 6:4? Deuteronomy 6:4. Here, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh, Elohinu Yahweh, echad. Oh, wow, it's the same word. It's the same word, echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahovah, Yaho, Elohinu, Yaho, echad. Same word. Same word, echad. Are you seeing the connection between man and God? Like God, man is one Adam. Like God, man is more than one person of the same nature. The one God is more than one person of the same nature. The one Adam is more than one person, two different genders, two different persons, two different physical bodies, but one Adam, one flesh. Oh, no wonder God spoke in the plural. Schwinger. Now watch here. It gets worse for our friend. What does our Lord say about male and female? And he answered and said, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? Note, male, female. There has an element of male in her name. O man. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother, be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. They are no longer two, but one flesh. God is not three gods, but one God. What therefore God is joined together, let no man separate. Let no man separate. See that? You guys see that? Are you catching how in the creation of man, God is revealing his plurality? The one man, one Adam, one flesh, is more than one person, more than one gender. The one God is more than one person of the same nature. So just like you don't say two, right? You say they're one flesh. You don't say three gods, they're one God. Oh.